Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. A fire destroyed a house that was allegedly occupied by squatters in Wonder Valley. On Tuesday at around 8:45 a.m., crews from San Bernardino County Fire and the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center responded to a report of a fire near the intersection of Amboy Road and Barbara Lane in Wonder Valley. Neighbors saw smoke coming from a home and called 911. County Fire said that when they arrived, they found a one-story single-family home fully engulfed in flame. County Fire said that there was no threat to neighboring homes or vegetation. Crews were able to extinguish the flames with no injury. Neighbors told County Fire that squatters had been living in the home. No one was inside the home or on the property when County Fire arrived. Southern California Edison cut power to the home. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Construction continues on Yucca Valley's $50 million aquatics recreation center being built on the north end of town off Little League Drive. Yucca Valley Town Council received a construction update at last night's Town Council meeting. Online news editor Robert Hayden was there and picks up the story from here.
The Yucca Valley Aquatics and Recreation Center, or YVARC, is on track for a fall completion date despite a few contractor delays. Last night, the Yucca Valley Town Council received an update from project manager Jen Wagner at the Dahlin Group. This is their 8th quarterly update, and it covers construction from April to June. First up, the natatorium pool deck has caused some slight delays as the contractor identified what Wagner says is a deck slope issue, and that's currently being addressed. She says that while the correction may cause a delay to the overall schedule, construction activities can continue elsewhere in the 37,000 square foot facility. The exterior continues to get shaped up with concrete paving in the north parking lot and glass reinforced concrete panels going up on the outside of the building, with plaster going up in some areas. There's also going to be a solar canopy in the northeast parking lot, providing both shade and power to the facility. The interior is where the majority of work is being completed, with electrical, HVAC, lighting, and other infrastructure being roughed in, and tile, windows, and cabinetry going up in other areas of the building. Wagner says they've even been able to order furniture for some of the areas.
And once construction reaches the appropriate stage, we'll start filling the pools.
Wagner wrapped up her presentation saying that the YVARC is currently at 89% completion and has 78 calendar days remaining for the project, putting the finish line in early to mid-October. Construction is, of course, a huge step, but there's a lot to do after the construction phase is completed. Inspections and testing will be done by various agencies, and the facility will have to be furnished. Staff will need to be hired and trained, and the town will have to formally accept the project before the ribbon-cutting ceremony can commence. Deputy Town Manager Frank Lacchino says this may put the opening after the holidays. As for that possible delay with the natatorium, Deputy Town Manager Shane Stuckel gave some insight on timeline delays of the $50 million project. The first delay was on the town side, acquiring take permits for western Joshua trees on the project site. A second delay in the project came from the design side, and Stuckel says that the contractors also caused a few delays on the project, which will cost them $3,000 per day of delay.
And we've initiated those conversations verbally with the contractor in the process. So why do I mention all of these things? Just want to indicate to the council, timely delivery of this project is extremely critical to town staff. We do want to keep it within budget, which it still is today, and it appears we're going to finish within budget. As we have a better picture of that completion date, we'll continue to communicate that to the council.
Council members seemed pleased with the progress on the project, and Mayor Pro Tem Jim Schooler says that he toured it a couple weeks ago. Councilmember Jeff Droz remarked that the timeline has shifted before, moving up to summer and then back to the fall date, keeping the project in line with the original expectations for completion. In public comment, Yucca Valley resident Diane Hartle has lived up on Juniper Terrace that overlooks Yucca Valley, and she says in the last 41 years, town growth has lit up the sky more and more, and she hopes that the lighting for the facility will minimize the light pollution. In response, Public Works Director Alex Keisha assured her that the YVARC falls within the town code, which requires downward-facing lights and a warmer color temperature. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Basin Transit Board of Directors meets in regular session tomorrow afternoon. The board will consider authorizing advertising content on the display systems inside Basin Transit buses. The board is also expected to approve their employment contract with General Manager Sherry Holsclaw. The board will review their operating and capital budgets and adopt a passenger code of conduct. The Basin Transit Board of Directors meets tomorrow at their office at 62405 Verbena Road in Joshua Tree at 5 p.m. The deadline is nearing to submit to the Yucca Valley, California Welcome Center's 8th annual art exhibit. The call is open to artists throughout the state of California, and those selected by the judges will be displayed at the California Welcome Center for 12 months. Awards will be presented by judges in the categories of painting, photography, mixed media, and people's choice. Entries are $30 each, and each artist is limited to 5 total pieces. You can submit artwork and learn more at a link in this story at Z107.7fm.com or visit CaliforniaWelcomeCenter.com. Attention, high desert quilters. The California State Park System is celebrating 100 years with a one-of-a-kind quilt project. In honor of the 1927 to 2027 centennial celebration, California State Parks is creating a centennial quilt featuring every state park unit. Each quilt square will represent a unique park and highlight its recreation opportunities, natural beauty, cultural significance, or history. Staff, volunteers, partners, and community members are invited to create a quilt square that captures the spirit of a park they love. Once complete, the individual squares will be assembled into a single commemorative quilt celebrating the rich diversity and shared legacy of California's protected places. The finished quilt will be displayed during centennial events. The deadline for submitting a 12 by 12 quilt square is October 30th. We'll have full guidelines and more info on the project at a link at this story at Z107.7fm.com. And finally, the American Red Cross has declared a blood shortage after the nation's blood supply declined nearly 25% in June. Blood donations are especially needed for blood types O positive and B negative to help meet ongoing patient needs. Currently, Red Cross distributions to hospitals are nearly 3,500 units higher per week than expected at a time when hospitals often see increased demand for blood products during the height of trauma season. Additionally, the seasonal loss of school blood drives have contributed to the decline in blood supplies. You can help out by donating blood at a Livestream mobile blood drive being held this Friday at the Stater Brothers West location. They will be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and they ask that you schedule your donation by visiting Livestream's website at lstream.org. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.